Before I start, this is my abstract, which you can just see briefly that what is actually blended learning. We all speak about the use of technology or use of ICT in our day-to-day teaching, but blended learning is actually a combination of both, where we are using the teaching as well as the use of technology in the classroom, which includes online material as well. And the importance of this is that the blended learning is now being accepted across the world. And through my paper, I have tried to find out what are the various advantages, disadvantages of this learning, and how in a way it also differs from the digital learning. In my introduction, I would speak that as far as our education system in India is concerned, we all know that in the ancient India, we had the Gurukul system where the students used to go to the Gurukul and they used to study over there, complete their studies and again come back to their parents. So that was one of the system which was developed in India. In some parts of India, even today, this Gurukul system as a part of ancient and traditional learning still exists. After independence, we find that there are various boards which have been set up. We all know about this board, SSC board at the state boards, CBSE boards at the central level, ICSE operating from Delhi, and even now we are having international boards which are international baccalaureate. But all these boards, if you see, are at the same, there is a consensus among all these boards that we have to use ICT in the use of educational sector. And government also, we find that over a period of time has been speaking about reforms in the educational sector. Now, what is this digital learning? Now, all of you are already using the various digital aids in your classroom teaching, so I will not discuss more on this. I will just briefly say that it's a use of technology in imparting education. And this technology is not only being used in universities or colleges, but even in schools also we find that, even in primary schools also we find that the teachers are using ICT. And in this yesterday and today also reference has been made to the MHRD and Government of India, where they have started many courses on digital platform for the benefit of students, which we all know, Swayam Prabha and e-Pathshala. Now, what is this blended learning? As I was saying, that blended learning is actually the combination of digital mode with traditional classroom method. And here there is in digital learning, when a student is learning through digital, all these processes, there is a possibility that a student may not pay enough attention. Because if there is an absence of teacher, there is nobody to look after the student if he is not able to pay the attention, because teacher may not be physically present. So blended learning becomes very, very important because there is a combination of use of technology as well as the teacher's physical presence is there inside the classroom. Now, what are the objectives of my study? The objectives is to understand the concept of blended learning, to understand the difference between blended and digital learning, to find out the advantages of it and give suitable suggestions. My methodology has, I have used secondary data. Actually, there is not secondary data I have not actually given because of paucity of time, but I have not collected any primary data also. Collection of primary data would have been quite relevant because ultimately it is the learners and the students who are going to decide whether they have benefited from this or not. Whatever information I have collected is through the websites of MHRD and UGC. Now, in the traditional learning, classroom learning and digital learning, the important part of blended learning is that the physical presence of, here it should be teachers, by mistake I have written students. It's a physical presence of both teachers and students is required. And the advantages, as I have said, that there will be the personal attention which will be given. And over here in a blended learning, then teaching aids will be used. Like for example, use of PPT. PPT, I know many of us are already using the PPT in our classrooms. Okay, so here PPT will be used. Now, where has this concept evolved from? This concept as digital learning has evolved from the distance learning courses, which has served as a starting point for blended learning. We all know that many years back, Mumbai University started with the distance education, which was earlier known as correspondence courses. Now, in correspondence courses, we know that the teaching material was given by them, and then the students have to fill the exam form, and then they have to appear for the exam. So differences between digital and blended learning I have already said. Now, what are the advantages of blended learning? That it becomes more effective. Teachers can give more attention towards slow learners, because as we know that when we are teaching in a classroom, all of them will not study at the same pace. So some teacher has to be present so that it leads to effective concentration of the students. Another important of this is that since now we are having e-tablets also, the big problem faced by schools and colleges is the library space. The space crunch can be also solved, and it is cost effective. Disadvantage is that it is technology dependent, and the knowledge, ICT knowledge of teachers is also very, very important. And e-learning courses, we find that nowadays there are e-content developers who charge very fees. Like somebody mentioned about the implementation of the ERP in the schools and colleges, but we all know that the implementation of this is also very, very expensive. Suggestions is not to limit role of teachers in the classroom. Blended learning to be effective tool. Importance of technology is already acknowledged, and human interface is also very important, not to be left everything to the machines, so that a human being does not become a silent spectator. Okay, these are my references. Thank you very much.